Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to the circle. Hi. As the introduction, I probably shouldn't have taken a my drink while I'm trying to talk. Jeez Louise. So today we are talking with Tammy Hudgen, who is our Facebook queen.
Mm-hmm.
And
I should have worn a crown today.
Oh my! You should wear a crown every day, girl. Talking about something really important, and I think that more and more people need to learn how to do this. And I know you're such an expert at this. A lot of times, talking about Facebook and business, people really focus on that business page, but there's so much opportunity for people to build from their personal page. But I really and truly think a lot of people, they just don't know how to do it. They just don't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where
I'm coming in, right?
Yes.
No, it's perfect. And actually, some of the things I'm going to share today, I'm going to give kudos to Lynn because she had done a live video probably 5 months ago, and some of these elements she had talked about in her video. So kudos to you because I stole them and I now use them in my trainings.
That's the secret.
That's how you do it, right? So first off, a lot of people have gone in panic mode because of the changes that were made with the algorithms for our business pages, okay? And so people are starting to shut down their pages and they're kind of just struggling because they don't know what that next step is. And as a side note, before I get into everything, please know that it's against Facebook rules to create a personal profile in a business name. The last 2 days, I've gotten friend requests from probably 5 different people, and the name of their personal account is their business name. They will get shut down. Facebook will end up shutting them down. So you have to have a real name. You can't put your business name in there. So keep that in mind. But when it comes to your personal timeline, there is huge amounts of opportunity for you to build on there. And the reality is, even though we don't get stats, the reality is we get more impact off of our personal. So what you don't want to do, and I'm not a great example of this anymore, because I've been working Facebook for 10 years now, so I've reached a point where, I'm going to bombard you guys, and I'm okay if people unfollow me. But if you're just starting out and using your personal timeline, don't be bombarding people with business post after business post after business post, okay? You definitely don't want to do that. What you can do, there's a couple of things, and this is where Lynn comes in. On your personal timeline, there are some strategic moves that you can make that gives you an opportunity to promote your business and doesn't break the Facebook rules, okay? So one of them is just under our profile picture, you have the little intro. You'll see that there. Well, it's limited characters. But it was funny because it was after your video that I physically went in and changed my intro. Because I took the opportunity when I saw the intro and talked about, well, I'm a single mom, loves life, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And I watched your video and went, oh my God, why don't I write something strategic in the intro that ultimately is about my business without selling my business? So I took that tip and I went and I changed my intro. So take advantage.
What do you say now?
I can't.
Okay.
We'll look later.
We'll look later.
But I know basically I talked about my passion for teaching Facebook to small business owners. I'm pretty sure that's almost the exact words that I wrote there. So there's that opportunity. And that intro is defaulted to public. You can't change the privacy on it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
That's good.
So think about that. If someone is searching for you on Facebook, right, they're not your friend, at least there's some elements that they're going to see, right, and take advantage of those elements and make it about your business. Then just under there, we have our featured photos. And you can upload 5 photos. Again, defaulted to public. You cannot change the privacy. Yeah, so I have 4 on mine. And I didn't do 4 photos that were trying to sell my business, but I did 4 photos that tied into my business, right? One of them happens to be my logo. I thought, okay, logo would be good. But then I did one of me where I'm like this when we were Whistler and a couple mountains behind me.
Oh, I love that
And
picture.
really that whole point of that picture was to show that, I'm traveling. And I believe that contributes to my business, right? If I
freedom piece.
it is, exactly, right? When you talked on our episode that we did the other day, you talked about the 3 things that touch points for people, which wealth was one of them in there, right? So being able to build your business successfully to get to the point of freedom, right? So take advantage of those photos that are there. You can do up to 5 of them, and why not be strategic about it, right?
Do you have a speaker photo where you're speaking?
No,
I know.
like
thinking of you and other people that might be something they want to promote. It just came to
Yeah,
my mind,
I know.
like having that if you are a person who speaks.
I don't really have any nice photos of me speaking.
Oh, we'll get
so
one
I
of
need
you.
someone to get a photo of me speaking. Yeah. So you want to take advantage of that. Then underneath that, so those 2 elements, you do them right when you go to your actual personal timeline. You'll see it there. The stuff that falls under there, you'll find under the About tab. And there's a couple of things. So one of my pet peeves is if I'm creeping someone on Facebook, and I know, I creep people. And I want to know what your business is. You don't have a link to your business page on your personal timeline. Why not, right? If people are going to creep you, at least drive the traffic to your business page. So under the About section, you want to add under your work element, you want to add in a link to your business page, okay? You also might have the option where it says Manages.
Right.
Okay, not everybody has that feature. If you have the Manages one, that's specific in the sense of tagging your business page in that element. Otherwise, add it under the work section.
Okay,
Okay.
so it's not a feature because I have the name.
Yeah, not everybody does. And I'm learning that when I'm going out and doing training. I'm learning there's no manage button. There's
Is
nowhere.
there a reason?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's an old feature. I normally would tell you that it's a roll-in, right? Because when Facebook makes changes, they roll it in.
Right.
But it's too old now to be considered a roll-in feature, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
So some people may not see the Manages button, but either way, add it to your work, okay? But here's a cool thing. As well in the About section, under Contact and Basic Information, you can put links to other websites. So I have listed there a link to my website, a link to my Instagram account, a link to my LinkedIn, a link to my YouTube channel, right? So again, and those I made sure they were all set to public. That's the other thing, make sure it's all set to public. So again, if someone's creeping you, they're gonna see all of those elements that are directly related to your business. So that you can get away with because Facebook gives us those features. So that's just a way to set up your personal profile and being more strategic about it. Now, moving beyond that, it's how you work your personal timeline, right? What are you putting out as posts? And everybody that follows me knows that every single Monday, right? And I know Tracy does the same. Every single Monday, I always write. I know. I know. Love it. I do a post that tells you about my week. And ultimately, I make sure that in that, I'm doing very strategic elements. I have a Zoom call with a client who's taking my online academy.
Right.
I have a Zoom call with a potential client who wants me to manage their business, or I'm going to a speaking engagement and I'm going to be talking about this. So what I'm doing is I'm just sharing my week, but I'm dropping in elements that make up what I offer to my clientele. But when you read it, it's not a sales post, right? I'm indirectly selling to you. And I always like to throw in a little bit of personal in there. So we were supposed to do Caesars in Collingwood the one week that I put up the status. So I made sure I shared that because everybody knows I love Caesars. But that element I put in, I was going out with my daughter. We were doing our nails, so I put that in there. So I try to sprinkle in that status, some personal as well. And then I always look for some type of a quote that ties in with what I wrote.
Yeah, you do that really good.
Right. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I read my post and go, okay, what's the message I want to give people? Because most people, the comments that I get online, and they're pretty standard, is that, oh my God, you're busy. right? Everybody just, right? That's how I get responded to. So sometimes I've chosen very specific quotes around the concept that I'm busy, but I'm not, if you know what I mean, right? So utilizing what you put out on your statuses is key. You can do it without selling. And ultimately, you know what? Facebook gives us a feature on our business page, the share feature. And they give you an option to share on your personal timeline. We need to take advantage of that because that is what's going to drive traffic back to your business page. So I'm not saying every day share from your business page onto your personal timeline, but maybe start off once a week and make sure it's a very good post. Don't just pick anything, right? Really think about it. If you say, okay, you know what, today I really want to put something on my personal timeline that's linked to my business page, then be strategic with what you put on your business page. Don't make it wasted, right? And then as you start growing and people get familiar with what you're putting out there, then maybe now you can go 2 times a week sharing from your business page, right? Build it up. Don't be doing it every single day because then people are going to unfollow you and not want to see what you're putting out on your personal timeline.
Question.
Yeah.
Miss
Yeah.
Tammy, I have a question. Do you have sort of a number of how many posts? So yes, from the business page, but that are business related, or like I would call it the power post. Like
Right.
every so often you can do a real call to action, a real ask
On your
for business
personal?
on your personal. So do you have a number or like an idea of how many in the week, how many posts in general should just be personal versus?
I think it has, okay, first off, it really has to determine how far you are into the world of Facebook.
Yeah.
So for me, right, I don't do it, but if I was going to do hard sell, I could get away with doing a couple times a week, only because I've built that.
Right.
If you're fairly new, I wouldn't even go once a week. I would start off once a month on your personal timeline doing a hard sell. I would more focus my posts around my journey of building my business. So
Right.
where am I going to
Yeah.
network? Who am I talking to this week? What am I doing to help myself get more education or my learning, or who's inspiring me? I want to build me first,
Yeah.
right? Attraction marketing.
Right.
I want to bring that in first before the hard sells. So first starting out maybe once a month on your personal. Okay, but I'll be honest with you, it's very rare I do a hard sell on my personal. Very rare. And it's very rare that I actually do a sell. Even on my business page. Anyone that's following me, lucky if once a month I promote an actual product that I offer or service.
That's a great point though, because I do think there's an evolution, and when people are learning about how to use Facebook and they're brand new, they have to build that audience that is trusting in them and wanting to. If you
So
give, then people are like, oh, I want to
That's
read her
right.
thing, or I want to support her, right?
Yeah.
But if it's new, then you kind of haven't earned that yet, maybe.
Yeah, I think you have to look at your proportions as well. Like some people don't post a lot on their personal page, or they don't post a lot on their business page when they have it. So if you're like 60% sales because you only do, I'm going to show my good math, but anyway, you do so many posts and the majority of them are business or focused on a sell, it's a problem. But if you're doing 2 posts a week that are a hard sell, but you're doing 30 posts a week,
Exactly. Different
and you're an
concept.
active page,
right.
different. I don't know,
Yeah.
30 posts a week, but
But well, some are.
yeah.
But and that's a key point that you brought up though. So it is about being consistent. It is about putting something out every single day, right? And you can get away with 1 post a day. I don't. I do a lot, but I do a mix of elements. So here's the other thing: is it's not just about yourself, right? Support the other business owners. Share their stuff out to your network, right? It shows that you're willing to work with other business owners. That you're. I mean, I will even share stuff from my competitors, right? Because technically they're my competitor, but they're not, because we all have something different to offer. So, but if you really want to build a business, you've got to be active. Like you can't be dropping in once a week and putting out a hard sell on your timeline and nothing else, right? No one's paying any attention to you, right? So, but you're right. If you're doing 30 posts a week, then a couple times a week doing a hard sell wouldn't get as noticed, right? So it's just being aware And taking, when we did the episode where you were talking about attraction marketing, you had those 4 questions
Yes,
asked.
yeah.
And those questions were really great in the sense of, just stop and think about your end user. Who's reading it? And that's how I do a lot of my stuff, right? I look at it and go, okay, if this was someone else's post, what is it that's going to attract me to read it, right? And I think we all have to think that way. The sad news is that people are being trained to, the expectation is that they can use online marketing and they will build a very successful business and they're going to make lots of money.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah,
Within a
overnight.
month, within 30 days, they'll start making all this kinds of thousands and thousands of dollars wrong. Not going to happen, but what they're being taught on how to do that is hard sell, hard sell, hard sell, hard sell. And filling news feeds with, just your product, right? And trying to sell it. And then they don't understand that, people are actually unfollowing them or hiding them in their news feeds. So you can take advantage of your personal timeline because we get more interaction on our personal. That's where you have to be more strategic with what you're physically putting on there, right? The whole key is get people talking, right? And you are fantastic at that.
Oh,
The stuff you put out is just phenomenal. And people are constantly, right? Okay, I have to share this one. Okay, this girl has Coca-Cola red toenails. Okay, so she tagged me in the post because everyone knows I like Coca-Cola, which is in my cup. But what was interesting is that the amount of notifications I got from people commenting because of your Coca-Cola nail polish, it was crazy. But you think about that. There was no real significance to it in essence. You weren't selling a product or a service.
Right.
You were just, because I don't know if it was the day before that morning you had done a post asking
Yeah, it was
people
the morning
the
of.
morning of
Yes.
what colors we should see, get her to choose,
Can I
right?
say 2 things about the genius of that? And you just do it now because it just seems normal to do.
Yeah.
You put out the post asking the question. It's fun. Girls like to do it. Most of your audience is female. Smart. But it fits with your brand because you also talk about self-care.
Yeah.
So then you do that. So you see
yeah.
how the trust builds where they're like,
Yeah.
oh, she talks about self-care, but she's a total wreck.
Exactly.
No, she's actually proving and showing that I do what I
Yeah.
say. I like to go get pedicures. You've said
Sort
it before. There is this trust that gets built on saying, I'm going to do this week, and then later you show a post that you actually did it.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
if it's
Yeah.
no biggie.
But
It
right,
really
it validates,
right,
it
yeah,
validates, right?
Anyway.
That would be like me trying to sell water. And if I put a post and try to get people to buy water, they'd be like, why would you buy water from her? She doesn't even drink it. Like, right? Like, let's be realistic, right? It's the same as I could never be in the health and wellness industry. It just would never happen. I'm like, all the bad things I do, right? But it's true. But that's the whole thing. You have to be real. You have to be genuine. You have to look at who's following you. Be strategic with what you're physically typing. Get people talking to you. And you know what? And then you can do a hard sell.
Yeah.
And those people will actually pay attention to your hard sell. It was interesting. I read an article yesterday, and it was talking about the algorithms and how people went into panic mode. And you have someone at your door. Sorry.
Oh,
Okay.
no, it's just a-
Okay. So what was interesting is they said you never know who's watching you.
So true.
Just
yeah.
don't assume that people, if they're not engaging, that they're not watching.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. And a perfect example is I did have someone follow me for 6 months. I had no idea. They never commented on anything. And the reason they followed me is they were looking for a social media person and they were watching a bunch of us.
Mhm.
And based on what I was doing, in the end, they decided to hire me.
Right.
Right? But never made any indication for 6 months. Didn't know the person, never met them anywhere. Like, it was crazy. So you don't realize who's truly watching. So be aware of what you're putting out on your personal timeline.
Yeah.
Be strategic.
Yeah.
Amazing. Really great. Awesome points. We're actually almost
Yeah,
out of time.
right? God, these go quick.
Anything anybody else wants to add or say?
Can I come right back to one quick thing?
Mhm.
You were talking about setting up the profile really well. A lot of people are using groups now instead of their
Yes.
business page. Can you
Yeah.
put a link to your group that you'd like? Is there a place where
Yeah.
you would suggest doing that?
I would actually do it on my personal timeline. right? I would write a status and talk about.
Like in the bio?
Oh, I see
That's
what you
what I mean,
mean.
yeah.
That's a good question because normally, I'll give you an example. In Facebook ads, you cannot put a link that drives people back into Facebook. Yeah, so like if you wanted to drive, if I wanted to in my post say, make sure you're checking out my business page or whatever, unless I choose a specific ad that's generating likes for my business page, it's automatically going to send them there. But if you actually paste a link, it won't. It has to be an external link from Facebook. So I'm not 100% sure on that, but I don't see why you couldn't, which brings up the point. If you're going to use a group, please go into your edit group settings and you'll see where it says website address and email. In there, customize your www for your group. Most people don't know you can do that. Yes. Otherwise, it'll be www.facebook.com/groups, blah, 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 and have a whole bunch of numbers.
Yes.
So you
Well,
mean
you
you
can
like use a
customize.
Bitly or
Oh,
just do a
No, you create one within Facebook.
Oh my goodness.
So for any groups that I have, for example,
Yeah,
it'll
learning
say
a lot.
www.facebook.com/groups/learning Facebook.
Right.
So that's
clear.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you'll come on the
Yes.
search.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
So make sure you go
Oh,
into your
yeah.
group settings. You're going to edit group settings. I believe it's the underneath the cover photo. I don't think it says more. Just think it's 3 dots. But anyways, and you're going to go to edit group settings and you're looking for website address, email address, and that's where you create the unique URL for it.
Okay. Would you ever like link that maybe like with a little circle around?
Yeah, I'll
it
do
or-
I'll do
something
like a
that.
screenshot and do my little thingy. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay.
Don't let me forget. Okay. Perfect.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much. I know I learned a lot.
Thank you.
Have a great day,
Bye.
guys.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.